CD versus vinyl. Hey everybody, this is TJR and welcome to another edition of CD versus vinyl. Today we're going to be comparing Synchronicity by The Police. This was their fifth album. It was also their last album. And many say it was their best album. I'll just say, man, they really went out on a high note with this one. So I kind of feel like there may not be too much to really say about this one, this particular comparison. We'll see. As you know, a while back, I went to a garage sale where a seller had just thousands of used vinyl records that he was selling cheap. He had a $20 box, he had a $10 box, he had a ton of $5 boxes and a ton of $1 boxes. This was in the $5 box. And this is an 80s pressing. Now, I've been told that if you have an original first pressing, 80s pressing, and you hold it up to a light source, you'll know because it's translucent purple. And I've also been told that if it is the translucent purple, it's some kind of special high-grade audio file quality vinyl. To be honest, I've never been able to get any kind of an explanation as to why that is. Why is the translucent purple version supposed to be high-grade vinyl or high-grade audio quality vinyl? I've never gotten any explanation on the internet about it. Just people just keep repeating it on the internet. At the end of the day, I guess it doesn't matter because I pulled this album out. I held it up to a light source, and that's the only way you can tell is when you hold it up to a light source. It appears black until you hold it up to a light source. When I held it up to the light source, it was more of an amber color. And honestly, this is the only album I've ever held up to a light source just to see how that works. Maybe I should take another album that doesn't have this legacy behind it, hold it up to a light source and see what happens. Let's do that right now. Hello, this is TJR, and this video is brought to you by my patron supporters. If you would like to show your support for these kinds of videos, please go to patreon.com/TJR, the original, and make a pledge. Patron supporters receive early access to select videos and also receive exclusive videos available nowhere else. And if you can't become a patron supporter, I understand. You can help this channel grow by just clicking like and letting this video play till the very end so that the YouTube algorithm recognizes me and recommends these videos to more viewers like you. Also click subscribe and click the bell icon so you never miss a video. Thank you for your support. Okay, I'm back. And I took a number of vintage vinyl records from my collection and held them up to the exact same light source that I held up the Synchronicity album. And there was zero translucence, none whatsoever. They were just straight up black. One of the albums I did this with is this first album by Brian Setzer, his first solo album outside of the Stray Cats, The Night Feels Like Justice. And all of them were straight up black. And the reason I went with older albums from the same time period is because record albums were much thinner then. Modern pressings are much thicker now. 180 gram vinyl is kind of the standard for most modern album pressings. So I'm kind of even more curious now. Everybody that I listened to or talked to or heard on the internet or read on the internet, they all said purple. This one's amber, and it's definitely translucent. If you know anything about this, if you have some insight you want to share, let me know. I'm curious. But then again, also, if you know anything about why is it considered high quality audio vinyl? What's the deal with that? Either way, if it is a high quality vinyl audio, it definitely did the trick. Because comparing this to this, the difference was night and day. This album, you know, it sounds fine on CD, but when you compare them back to back, the first thing I noticed was on the opening track, Synchronicity, just how much the bass and drums just boom hit you. The force that they hit you with. You can feel the sound of the pick against the bass strings. And I'm pretty sure Sting plays with a pick versus plays with his fingers. I could be wrong. Maybe he does both. But wow, it was just night and day difference. Also, like on the second track, Walking in Your Footsteps, there was this spatial quality to it that did exist on the CD. That spatial quality was there, but it was a lot more like this versus on the LP more like this. And I'm just seeing this kind of space between all the instruments. It feels much more immersive hearing it on this. It feels more like it's all around you when you listen to it. Here, it feels more like it's just kind of coming at you. Very different. Now, I should mention that this particular copy I got way back in the day. This was from one of those CD clubs. This one I think was BMG. There was BMG and there was Columbia. This was BMG. And I hear mixed reports on these. Some say they sound just the same. Some say they sound inferior. I don't know. Like I said before, I was always fine with this. This always sounded perfectly fine to me. It's when you make those A to B comparisons that the truth comes out. And this was definitely a better experience. And like I said, this vinyl now, how old is it now? 80s. It definitely was not in what I would call pristine condition by any stretch of the imagination. Lots of dirt and dust, which I cleaned, You could definitely see, what looked like fingerprint marks, that sort of thing. But, a simple brush cleaning. And the snap and crackle is basically there when you put the needle on at the beginning and maybe in between the tracks as it's fading out. But it's fading out at that point, I can live with that. I would, of course, love to get my hands on a cleaner copy, but I got this for $5, so, I can't complain. I am very sorry that I missed out on the half Speedmasters that were released in 2019, the box set. That just kind of passed me by. And I probably wasn't as into vinyl then as I am now. The pandemic was happening, and for whatever reason, I just lost track of the fact that that release happened. And kind of sorry about it. But one of the nice things about picking up something like this on vinyl is that it kind of gives me another chance to rediscover it. And as I've been listening to this album now with the benefit of hindsight, after so many years, I'm starting to hear it a lot differently, and I'm finding myself experiencing it in a different way and thinking about it in a different way, so much so that a video essay is starting to formulate in my head. Not sure when it's going to actually take shape, but it is formulating in my head. And I know this album, the theme is, of course, Synchronicity, which, if I understand correctly, are two separate events that seem to have nothing in common and yet do, if I explain it properly. I feel that when I listen to this album, it's really more about duality. This is what I get from it. And the video essay that's formulated in my head is going to explore that. Anyways, though, if you can grab an 80s pressing of this, it's worth your while. If you can withstand a little bit of clicks and pops, hopefully you don't have to spend too much money on it. It's going to be fine. If you can get a great clean copy, that's even better. I would be curious to know from anybody who has that 2019 set with the half-speed remasters, their thoughts on the sound quality of it. And if you've ever done any comparisons with a CD edition. There was, of course, also a box set released with all the albums, the entire catalog remastered for CD. And that also came out a little bit after that box set, around 2019, 2020. And the CD box set is still available. The LP set sold out, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to get my hands on one. They're asking quite a lot on the aftermarket, like double. So I don't know if that's going to really happen anytime soon. I'm just really glad, though, that I managed to get a hold of this, though. Like I said, you never know. You get lucky sometimes. And yeah, $5. And if I can find the other Police albums, vintage, I'll definitely pick those up and definitely compare them. So yeah, this time I think it's plain. With this particular comparison, the vinyl wins. And let me know if you've made any comparisons with either vintage or the more modern releases, and let me know what your findings were. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Hope you all stay safe and healthy.